Welcome back to our Godly Dating and Leadership Family YouTube channel. And today, our topic of discussion is waiting on God for a life partner. And our guest is Grace. Welcome, and remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like and comment about our videos. Thank you so much and enjoy.
Yeah, that I would do that. So that is such an important subject, and I think that everyone who is on your platform is very lucky to have a place like that where you're fed with the truth while waiting for the right person to come into your life. So I'd like to thank you so much for welcoming me to this platform to share what I know about it. And so when we are single, it can get very lonely. It can get very challenging, especially if you're surrounded by friends and family who keep reminding you that you're single and you need to, bring a partner home. You need to start dating. It's very hard when you have friends who already have their partners, they have their homes, they have their kids, and you feel like you're running late on that issue of dating. And so that comes to a place where people can get lonely, they can get desperate. But I believe in something that I call divine timing. Now, divine timing is not your time, it's God's time. Divine timing means knowing that everything happens for a reason. And when you haven't met your partner yet, it's because that time hasn't come yet. And what I see oftentimes than not is that when you rush things to get a partner, when you rush things to get that person you mean is right for you, you end up getting the wrong person. Because, we have to give God credit. If you look at everything He has created, you have to give Him credit and know that you are single for a reason. And I like to give people advice to take that time to think about their lives. What do I need to fix about my life? Why do I need to focus more on my life? What do I need to improve? What do I need to do to make my life what I've always wanted it to be? And that is the best time you can use to grow and be who God created you to be. What that time when you're single, as you know that when the right time comes, you will meet the right person. Now, what happens is when you have, or you get to a place where you need a partner, it's very important. It's urgent because you want to show your friends you too can have a partner, or you want to, your family to relax and stop asking, and you end up getting the wrong person. Oftentimes, we are attracted to the person who will um, kind of relate to our brokenness, if you know what I mean. And that is why a lot of people, if you look at statistics, a lot of women and men, if you had an abusive father, drinking a lot, being abusive to you, you end up marrying the same person as your dad was. You end up marrying the same person as this person who used to hurt you. And the reason for that is because you didn't take time to heal. And what attracts you to that person and the brokenness of that person is your inner brokenness, if that makes sense. And so you need to work on you. You need to work on you and trust that this is a process. God has His reasons for you not not meeting your right partner just yet, and keep faith and know that when that time is right, the right person will come to you. So that is what I think about waiting on God. It's your time to focus on you, to work on you, to improve your relationship with anyone you need to improve your relationship on, to improve your relationship with God. And so that is what I believe is the time. That is why you're single. It's because that time is meant for you to be single, so you can work on you. Because what are you gonna do with somebody else if you can deal with yourself? And you owe it to yourself to meet the right person just as much as that person will meet you. You owe it to them too to meet the right you, because when life provides us. So we come through so many situations that changes, that, that breaks us. And, you need time to work on that. And there's no better time to work on you than when you're single. So that's what I have to say about that. Do you have any questions for me, Collins?
Okay, thank you so much for that sharing.
Yeah.
Maybe you can also share with us why should someone wait on God? Why can't we just just do it on our way? Just wake up, meet somebody, and then just continue the relationship. Why should we wait on God?
Because
Yeah.
you want to have the right person. And if you want to have the right person, you have to wait on God. And I'm not saying that by waiting on God, you just, hide in, sit at home and wait for someone to come and knock on your door. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, when you make that decision yourself, it won't be the right decision. You have to understand that God's timing is always the right timing. Your timing is never the best. How many times have you wanted something and you wanted it so bad, but you didn't get it? And then when you look back 5 years later and you look at what you didn't get, you go, thank God I didn't get that, because that wouldn't be the right thing for me. See, when you really wanted that, you didn't know that that wasn't right. But looking back, now you see that it wasn't right, and it was good that you didn't get it. And so that means that God's timing is always the best, because he knows you better. He understands you. He knows what's best for you. And you want what's best for yourself. That is why God's timing is always the best. And waiting on God is the best decision you can make. And when you meet that right person, I always say you don't have to go looking. You could be like going to the store, to the bathroom or something, and meet someone by the door, just a random act of meeting. And there you have the chemistry, and there you start talking. And so just trust God, live your life normal, and know that the right person will come when the right time comes. So that's my answer to that, Collins.
Right. Thank you. Now, the biggest also problem comes in when we say that you're waiting on God. What exactly, should we be doing in the process of waiting? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. It's like I said, work on you, your relationship with yourself, with the relationship with God, anything that needs improvement in your life. Just trust that this time is for you, and that's why you're single. So while you're waiting for God, it doesn't mean that you're just staying home waiting. It just means that you're living your life while knowing that God is doing his work to get you the right person.
Right. Thank you so much.
No problem.
What about when now, like, you are waiting or in the process of waiting on God, and like so many people get confused, like of being lonely, and they feel like when they see others are having their mates, they feel like maybe they are being rejected, rejections. So many things come into their mind. How do you manage all those things during the waiting period?
Yeah. That's a good question. Yes, there's the rejection. I always, by the way, if you have been in a position where you have liked someone and they rejected you, they didn't want to be with you or go into partnership with you, you just have to remember, I always say that rejection is God's protection. So if someone didn't want you, it's just that person wasn't right for you, or the timing wasn't right for the two of you to meet at that particular moment in time. Or in terms of being asked questions and having that pressure of all the others are meeting their right matches and the other, not me, and the loneliness, I would just advise you to think of yourself as a person who was created with their own journey. We all have our own journey, and you cannot walk on somebody else's path, if I could put it that way. And your path is different from your friend, it's different from your sister, it's different from your children, but that path is God's path. And when you walk that path, you will be the dream that God created for you. That means you being why you're here in the first place, why you're here in this world. And so what you have to remember is that you're walking your path. Yes, you haven't met your match yet, and everybody else has, but you're true to your path. And one time, when the time is right, you'll meet that right person. And so don't compare yourself to people, because that's where the problem comes, and that's where the rush comes, where you feel like, I need to get someone right now because my friend has a boyfriend, all my friends have boyfriends or girlfriends, and so I need to rush so I can get that person. And what happens is you end up getting the wrong person. And so it's about being patient and knowing that you have your own path, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the same as somebody else's. It just means that things happen in like I said, God's timing. And when you haven't met that person just yet, then that means the timing is not right just yet. And in that time, again, it's your time to work on you, to work on your relationship with God. And I'm telling you, once you're comfortable in that position, knowing that God is working, he's doing his work, you'll be very, the loneliness won't be there, because you know that someone is taking care of you, in that sense that you don't have to go looking, you haven't met the right person. Things will work out for themselves because God is in charge.
Right. You can keep on asking questions. If you have a question on our chat box, I'll be reading them, and our guest will be answering them. So maybe also you can share with us, Grace, that several occasions when you are single, you know, like so many people get confused, like, how do I know that now I am ready for a relationship? You know, how should I wait for how long, you know, that you are, you are now ready for a relationship?
Oh, you know what? When you're ready, you'll know. That's okay, I know that the fear comes when you, especially if you've been alone for some time, and fear comes when you meet that person and you begin to wonder, is this the right person? What am I doing? But you know, as human beings, we are creatures of habit, and when we are kicked out of that habit and thrown into uncomfortable grounds, that saying that having someone in your life, it gets scary. I would say just take your time, get to know the person, talk to them, date, and see where that goes. Are you there, Colin?
Yeah, I'm here. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So we're still just on the big question about this waiting on God. Now, how do you hear God during the process of waiting? When people get confused, like, how should I hear God? You know, some people say, does God really speak? You know, in the matters of relationship, how do you help us to balance between hearing God and also hearing ourselves? Like, it's not us doing.
Yeah. That's a good one. You learn to silence that voice within yourself. You know, when there's so much noise within, you're talking to yourself about the chores you're going to do and things you have to do and work and planning. When you learn to silence that and really concentrate on what you're praying on, then you'll be able to hear God.
All right. And now maybe my last question, and then I will get to to hear from our audience, the questions they have. Yeah, during the process of waiting, what can you encourage? You know, somebody says that happiness begins from you, you know, or you're the one to create your own happiness.
True.
How do you create that happiness? Like, I need to be taken out. Should I take myself out? How do I hang out with my friends? Yeah, so how should I maximize my singlehood process as I waiting on God, so that I
Yes.
don't go into a worship half-baked? Yeah.
Yes. So I would advise you to take care of you. Take good care of you. Eat healthy, exercise. What do you love to do? If you like to play soccer, do that. If you like to play golf, do that. Whatever you like to do, take walks, do that. If you like to watch movies, do that. Take care of you and everything you love to do, and make sure that you enjoy it to the maximum. At the same time, and I'm speaking from experience, when it comes to stuff like exercise and eating right, and so it doesn't feel right because it's uncomfortable, if you know what I mean. Like exercising, I hate running, but I do it anyway, because I know it's good for my body. So do stuff that is, you don't find very comfortable, you don't like enjoy, but it's good for your body. That's what I mean by taking care of you. So take care of you. If you like to take walks, take walks. If you like to, try to eat healthy, watch movies. Ladies, if there are ladies out there, we like to make our space beautiful, change up the furniture, do whatever you want to do to make your home comfortable for you. So when you come home after a long day's work, you just want to cozy up on the sofa and watch TV, watch a movie, whatever. Just take care of you and make sure you're good with you, you're comfortable with you. And I'm telling you, when you reach to that point, the right person comes. You have to be okay with you. You have to be comfortable with you, and just be happy being the person that you are.
Thank you, Grace. Let me hear, if you love to ask a question, you
Mm-hmm.
can raise your hand, and then I will appoint you so that you can do that. So we'll get to our chat box. Let me see the questions that we have here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that you're able to respond to. There's a question.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody is asking, on which aspect
Mm-hmm.
do you say working on yourself? Is this all rounded, including having a place to shelter, having money, blah, blah, blah? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. When I was thinking of taking care of you, I was thinking about um, inner, I would call it inner suffering. When it comes to like depression, you have depression issues, you have unforgiveness going on. There's someone uh, and somebody did something to you, and you're carrying that burden with you still. I'm talking about, yeah, just the inner battle that we go through as human beings. If I was to take my example by myself, is working on me, I had to deal with forgiveness. There was a lot of people I needed to forgive. I was working on taking care of my mental health by going outside and getting fresh air and jogging. And that sounds like so simple, but it's a lot when it comes to clearing your mind so you can have space for the word of God, so you can have space for the good that comes from the world. Because when you have been hurt, now I'm speaking from experience, someone will come to you with a smile, they want to talk to you, they want to know you, and your reaction to them will be, what do you want from me? And so you want to create a space where you have worked on that inner suffering so much so that you have space to welcome the good that comes into your life. So that's what I meant.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
There's another question is, how will you know that you are ready and you have worked on yourself?
Oh, let me tell you, when you know you're ready is when you are so comfortable with yourself. Like the loneliness may come, but it doesn't bother you that much. You're just fine being by yourself. You're enjoying your own company. When people say to you, "Why are you single?" and all that, you know that God is is working on that area of your life, and you trust that it would it wouldn't affect you as much as it would if you weren't ready. And so that is what I believe it means to be ready when you are so, you feel safe in your own space. You're okay with being you. Life is good in terms of you being single. You're at peace with that. Because when you're at peace with that, then you have no need to rush the decision to not be single, to rush the decision to meet someone. When you're at peace with your life as it is, then you are ready to meet the right person.
Okay. How do you know that he or she is the one?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. You know what? Just take your time, get to know them. And, after a few meetings and talking, then you'll know if they're not the one, because you have to, speak about your interest and what you love to do. And you will find out as you speak to that person, as you get to know them, if that is someone you would like to spend the rest of your life with.
Okay. Are there specific important things that you need to consider when dating someone, or you have to dwell on everything?
What did you say? One more time.
Sorry, are there specific important things
Mm-hmm.
that you need to consider when dating someone, or you have to dwell on everything?
I always say it's very I wouldn't use the word dangerous, but it's very unfortunate when you expect someone you want to date to be perfect. Okay, so you have to be very aware of the fact that you're meeting a human being just like you. And so, first of all, the first thing you have to do is eliminate the expectations. So you want that perfect lady who looks perfect, who has no failures, and comes from this family, and comes uh, from this ethnic group, whatever your reasons are. You have to eliminate that, because again, if you're waiting on God, then you have to open your heart to the fact that God may bring someone who doesn't match any of your expectations. Okay, and so you have to to remember that, keep that in mind always, because that person may not match your expectations, but that person will be the right person, and you'll be happy together for the rest of your lives. On the other hand, if you want to know, what was your question again, the last part?
That when dating someone, or you have to dwell on everything.
Dwell on everything.
Yeah.
I don't understand the question.
Like, do you need to dwell on everything about somebody? Like about the church, about the dressing, about the height, about everything about.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So you have to be able to understand that when you're waiting on God, then you have to know that what He brings to you can be something that you doesn't match your expectations. And the reason for that, again, is because He knows you better than you know yourself, and your expectations may not be realistic as to what will be right for you. And so I would rather take my time to know the person. When I meet someone and I feel like I like them, I'm beginning to feel something for them, I'd rather talk to them and get to know them, and then take it from there, than push them away just because they don't look like, or they don't match my description of what I had of a partner.
Okay. There's another question here that at times there's the fear of the unknown end. How do you overcome this?
I had a live video some weeks ago, and someone asked that question, and I say, fear is so powerful because we give it power. So that we are born, and at some point we will die, but you don't stop living because you're afraid of that dying part of your life. And so you have to not think about the end. I think that you asked me a question about when to listen to the voice of God. And I think that when you hear God best, you hear Him when you focus on now. Not tomorrow, not the day after, not yesterday, now, being present. That's when you hear God's voice. Being present and silencing the noise inside, the inner dialogue. That's when you hear God. And so you can't think about the end. All you have to think is now. And every decision you make now has an impact on the next moment and the next and the next. And so if you want to impact your life, you have to give your attention on now. And so don't think about the end and how it will be. That would be very unfortunate, because if you like that person and you can feel yourself sure that you know that that's the person you want to spend the rest of your life with, then I would ask you to not think about the end and all that fear of that fear of the tragic ending, if you know what I mean.
Right. To our audience, you feel free to raise your hand, so that we want also to listen your voices, so that you can ask a question. You can also ask for your friend. Yeah, so if you have a question, just tell me. We'll help you to ask. Okay, so Grace, you've shared about waiting on God, and you have handled different questions about that. Now, according to you, on your personal experience on waiting on God, yeah, how did that become practical to your life, to yourself?
Oh, for me, I think it comes with age. I think I'm divorced from one marriage, and then the next one first of all, to be honest with you, I was that kind of person who thought that I would never get married again. I would never do that, because I don't want to be the person who's been divorced 29 times. And so I didn't care that much about relationships, but I was very focused on creating a home, working so hard to make sure that I had a home for me and my daughter, for making sure that we had a comfortable space. And I love watching movies, so I would go to the movies by myself. I would, with my daughter, if she wanted to. I would go on vacations. I've been, around by myself. And I'm not saying I understand that nobody has that opportunity. But what I'm saying is I was very comfortable with me. And that's when I met my husband, because him and I have worked together for about 8 years before we even, he started asking me out on a date. And when I was talking about knowing the right person by just giving them a chance, is that if I had judged my husband beforehand because he doesn't fit my description, he has 4 children, I was never going to be with someone with children, ever. He has a big family. I would never be with a person with a big family, ever. So those were part of my criteria. And so he asked me out, and we went out, and we spoke, and I got to know him in another way than I've seen him at work. And we went on several dates, and then we knew that we wanted to be together for the rest of our lives. And so that's what I'm saying. When you're waiting on God, you have to be open to the fact that when someone comes, it may be that person who doesn't fit your description. And so to answer your question, for me, I wasn't even looking. I was just okay with being me, but I was hoping and I was praying to God that someone would come and I would spend my life with that person, because I didn't want to be that old woman who is dating around, and that is not a bad thing, but I just didn't want to be that person. So I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah, sure. We have having God as raised. You can ask the question.
Yes, thank you very much, our host, Brother Collins, and our guest, Grace.
Thank
Uh,
you.
I have two questions. Number one is there are some people who may say that they are waiting upon the Lord and they are taking too long time. They've not gotten that person they are waiting, and then the time is going. How do you advise that person? The second question is that there are some people who can be saying that I want a specific person, this type of a person. I want the maybe a person with certain characteristics, and then you've not gotten such a person. Then you hold on, you're waiting on God, you're praying for that type of a person, and you've not gotten. Time is going. How do you advise such a person, Grace? Thank you.
Yes, okay, that's a great question. Thank you. So the first question I would ask, okay, so this person has been waiting on God for a very long time and nobody's coming. And I'm thinking, does that person want to be in a relationship? And second of all, unless you want to, not, because we could be screaming to someone, you need to get your partner, you need to get married, you need to have children and all that. But they are the kind of people, they don't want that. They never want that in their lives. And so the question is, does that person want it? Or is that person honest with themselves? Are they honest with other people that, having a partner is not something they see in their lives? So those are the question I would ask the person. And then about the time it takes, you have to remember, my husband was single for 11 years after his divorce. And so it takes time for some people. And some people it goes very fast. So it depends on that person and what they really want. Again, we all have our own path, we all have our own journey, and it may take longer for some than it may take for others. And then on the second question, you asked about the expectations, and that what I said, if you are praying about God bringing a partner to you, you have to remember that what you're expecting may be completely different from what God brings on the table. And so you have to trust that God has the right person for you. And I said about my husband, and an example, I was never going to be with someone with children because I feel like I have enough with myself. I don't want to deal with other people. And then he comes with his 4 children, and we are married now, and everything is great. But had you asked me before I met him, I would say I would never. So you see, God knows best, and he knows what you can handle and what you cannot handle, even though you believe that you can't. And so that person who's waiting for such a long time to get their partner, I would ask that person, do you have expectations that doesn't match what God brings on the table? You never know. Probably that woman or that man came into their lives, but because their expectations, they were fixated on the expectations, they didn't see that blessing because they still waiting for that partner they have in their head, the way he looks, where he comes from, where she comes from, and all that when God brought that partner, they couldn't see that because of the expectations. So again, the most important thing is that when you have handed God that duty to take care of your desire for a partner in life, then you have to eliminate the expectations and know that God knows best. Hope I've answered your question.
Right. Do you have any question? Anybody who want to ask any question from our audience? Okay, just feel free to raise your hand as we continue with our conversation. We have less than 15 minutes to end our session, so please feel free to ask the question. Now, Grace, we've heard about your story.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what were the indications that the person who you married earlier, the first person, was wrong, was not the person meant for you? And how and also you meeting the now you are your husband.
Mhm.
You know, what was the difference, yeah, between the two?
Yeah, thank you. Also, my ex-husband, he, by the way, when you divorce someone, it doesn't mean they're a bad person. They're good people. It's just that who they are in life and who you are in life just doesn't match. And so that is what happened. Where he was in life and where I was in life at that time, it just didn't work out. Different view about life, about what I want to do with my life and all that. And I felt stuck, as if that if I wanted to be anything in this life, then I had to get out of that. But at the same time, like I'm saying, he's the most wonderful person. We still have a great relationship, a great friendship, uh, such an amazing dad to my daughter. So it's just that who I am and who he is wasn't meant to be together, if that makes sense. But again, my husband, that was very special because he's a Christian and he's he, how do I say, he's very loyal to his Christian values. And that was very new to me in a way. And having to deal with that made me respect him in a very wonderful way. And how royal he is and how kind he is, and he loves people. He pushes me to do my best. He pushes me to be the best I can ever be. He wants me to go for my dreams, and it's stuff like that, you know, him contributing to my growth, if I could say that way. He contributed to my growth, and I knew that as much as he was contributing to my growth, I was doing the same with him. And that is the person I wanted to spend my life with. And we have a great life together.
Wow, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, how was it moving to a new family? Did you had to do another wedding, or
Oh
how
yeah,
was
yeah. We did. How was it to have another family? Difficult, Collins. If I have to be honest with you, and I'll tell you why. My ex-husband's family, they're my family, if you know what I mean. I love them. I love them. Like love with capital letters. I love them. And my ex-mother-in-law, oh my goodness, the most wonderful human being. And we have been on vacation together. I love spending time with her. And so for me, it was very hard to have another family come and take that space. So that is why it was hard. And I had to work on me in the sense that I had to allow myself to love other people just as much as I love my ex-husband's family, because I could find myself, Collins, saying, okay, so my mother-in-law wants us to go and have dinner tomorrow at 5, for example. And I'll go, no. I need to go visit my ex-mother-in-law tomorrow at 5. So so I had to kind of find a balance where I have room for both of them. So it was hard in the beginning, but now we are good.
Wow, that's amazing story.
Yeah.
And now that you are in your new, with your current husband,
Mm-hmm.
you know, what is the most thing you're finding the fulfillment? Was your ex-husband not born again?
No, he wasn't. And that's okay. What I love about my husband is that he allows, like I said, I love my husband's family. I just love them. And my husband lets me have that relationship with them. He lets me take a drive and visit my ex-mother-in-law. He lets me do that. That because he knows that they are my family. It gives me great joy to spend time with them. And my husband is, it's very comforting to have someone who kind of, because I was born a Christian, by the way, Collins. I was born and raised in Kenya. And my husband, he kind of restored the kind of faith that I had when I was younger. And that's what I love best about him.
Okay.
Yes.
So you were born and raised in Kenya?
Oh, yeah. From Gilgil.
And from Gilgil?
Yes.
And how did you find yourself in Norway? Norway is your home?
Norway is my home. I've been living here for over 20 years. No, it just happened. God.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, there's another question here from one of us is asking that he appreciates the explanation you gave on of how God's expectations surpass ours. Does
Yes.
it mean that as long as the expectation doesn't hinder our faith, we can lay them off? At times it feels like wandering in the dark.
Yeah. You shouldn't sacrifice your faith for anything.
Okay.
Yes. If that person
Right.
comes into your life and that person starts questioning your relationship with God, then okay, unless they are in a place where they can be taught and accept, then that's okay. But if they're not, then I don't know.
Okay, because the person is also asking, like, for example, you as an individual, you are expecting, this kind of a person. And then God just brings somebody who doesn't match your expectations. How do you deal with that situation? Because sometimes it feels like, wow, yes, I just have to, because I was expecting maybe, let me say, a 6 figure, a six something, just somebody who is a height, maybe tall, and now I have the shortest guy.
Yeah. I get that. You know what? The heart doesn't lie. It never lies. And that's what I was saying, Collins. If you meet someone and there's some chemistry there, go out with them, talk to them, get to know them, and then your heart will tell you. You'll know if you like that person. You'll know if you don't. You'll know, and that doesn't make you a bad person or a picky person. It just means your heart wasn't responding to that person, and that's as honest as it can be.
Thank you so much. Our electricity have gone.
Oh,
My phone is 1%. So
sorry
if you
about
see
that.
the meeting before the time,
Yeah.
then it's be unfortunate. So we're remaining with a few minutes.
Okay, how long can it take? Is there a specific time that you can take?
No, I don't really, and I'll tell you why. Your heart will tell you. If that person is not the right person, you'll know immediately. And if that person is the right person, you'll know. When you talk and she understands your joke, you understand her jokes. It just comes naturally. So, if I gave you a time period, that would be wrong, because then you're waiting. If it doesn't happen within this amount of time, then she's not the right person or he's not the right person. So I would advise you to just let your heart speak, and you'll know if that person is the right person. You'll know. If not, you'll know.
Okay, maybe the reason I would ask that is because at times as much as we say we lay aside the expectations, there are times that some people you meet also have their expectations about how you're supposed to behave,
True.
how you're supposed to do things, how this relationship is supposed to move. And so sometimes you find that this person expects that immediately you meet, you not take long before maybe you get married or something.
I know. Yeah.
So at times you may have met all that you really desired.
Yeah.
But then the timings are again becoming a limitation to you, in that you're not that much prepared to be in a marriage at the time these people expect.
Yes. You know what? I can relate to that, Colin. What's your name again?
Adonija.
Adonija. Okay. you know what, that I can relate to that in the sense that men, you guys kind of take time, and the ladies, we like ready. We like, what is going on? Especially after it's been a year. I'm like, are you wasting my time? And I'll tell you from my own experience, communicate. Communicate. That's what my husband and I did, because it came to a point where I'm feeling, you know what, I'm too old for this stuff. Are we going to get married? What is happening? And to me, it was such a sense of security when he communicated to me and telling me, you know what, you're the one, but not just yet. And so communicate. Let the other person know why you're not ready yet. Let them know you love them. Let them know you just want to spend a little more time with them. Communicate.
Oh. But that's okay. I've gotten a bit of communication because I don't know whether it happened only with men, but it then intends to.
Yeah, I think you guys. I think so. I think you guys are like, you take your time with stuff, and as I can't say all men, but in my experience, it happens that you guys like to take your time. And again, it's so easy for me, as now I'm speaking from experience. For me, it was just as easy as communicating and me telling him what I think about the relationship and how it should go, and him telling me where he is and what he's, why it's taking some time. And when you get that mutual understanding as to why things are taking time, then it gets better. The worst you can do is not communicate. So that your partner is making their own stories about why it's taking so much time, and from that story they start acting, like, no, I don't want to see you tomorrow, I'm busy, because they are fed up, they're tired of waiting, and so you don't want to make room for that. You don't want to make room for your partner to start creating a story as to why it has taken so much time. And the best you can do is communicate, tell them why, and to explain it to them. And I think when you do that, it gives them some sense of security, especially if you know that's the person you want to marry. Communicate, be open to them, tell them why it's taking time.
Okay. Thank you for that elaborate response.
Yeah, no
I believe
problem.
we are helped. And I believe for some of us who are still waiting on God, they will have the faith to stay on and wait on God, because actually God brings the best.
Yes, it's always
so
the
I think,
best.
I think our time is up.
Okay.
And we want to appreciate
for
your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful session. Actually, it was my first time to be on Zoom.
Oh,
and I've liked
mine
it.
too.
I've liked it, and meeting a new friend, I believe we'll be able to connect more. And,
yes.
More sessions.
Yes. I'm on Grace on the Matter, and Collins will probably tell you about my platform, so you guys can follow me on Instagram.
Okay. Someone says, thank you so much, Grace. God bless you and replenish you.
God bless you.
Great. Okay, now we come to the end. We appreciate if we pray.
Oh, thank you so much.
I see Favor Muturi. I don't know whether she could speak to us. Hi, Favor.
Hello.
Hello.
Favor, you.
Oh, I can take one question if it's okay. It's okay.
Yes. No, it was actually not even a question. I just wanted to thank you so much for the session. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you.
And learned a lot.
Thank you so much.
And I do understand, for someone to pour their life into others, including talking about your past. It's not particularly easy, but may God use that part that you are pouring into other people's lives.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate you just giving me feedback. That means a lot to me.
Great. Thank you, Favor, and everyone who is following. I believe, Grace, the greatest bit that I've learned is the bit of the experience and from your side.
Oh, thank you.
There's one thing to share a story. There's one thing to share what you've gone through.
Oh, yeah, that is true, because then we can relate.
Yeah.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You guys, I love to have being on your platform. Thank you for having me.
Great.
Okay.
So, bye.
But I'm not good with tech.